Dave Rennie has named 8 uncapped players in his Wallabies squad. Photo, AFB. Dave Rennie has always said he will pick players on form, and, true to his word, he has. Of course, picking 40 players, none of whom are playing overseas, for a training squad means he has cast the net far and wide, but there are a number of interesting selections. Ben Donaldson, the emerging Waratahs fly half, has been selected alongside James O'Connor and Noah Lolesio despite picking up a calf injury. Donaldson will miss the next couple of weeks, but will travel to the Gold Coast for the 3-day camp on the Gold Coast. Jock Campbell, the Reds' outside back, has been rewarded for years of consistency at fullback and been brought in too. But his hopes of playing for the Wallabies could be hurt by the strong start at fullback by Jordan Pedaia, which has seen Campbell shifted to the wing. I certainly believe his best position is 15, and I know that Jordan really wants to play 15, and he's starting to make a real fist of it as well, Rennie told reporters on Sunday. It's good, it's competition for places, and hopefully that brings out the best in the both of them. Queensland Reds fullback, a winger Jock Campbell, has been selected. Photo, Brendan Hurtle, a QRU source, supplied. Western Force winger Tony Pulu, a favourite of Rennie's over the years, having played under him at the Chiefs before crossing the ditch, has been called up too. Only injury has prevented the former Brumbies speedster from making his debut, and the winger remains an elusive presence out wide. Brumbies locks Cadern Neville, Darcy Swain, and, interestingly, Nick Frost have been selected. Frost recently signed to join Robbie Dean's Panasonic Wild Knights in Japan, but by capping the 22-year-old his future could be swayed. Japan's League One allows for only 2 test-capped players on the field at any one time, and should Frost play against England, it will make life harder for Deans to play the prodigious talent whose developing body has him a world-class player for the future. We'd love him to be here, Rennie said. Nick Frost has been selected in the Wallabies squad, clouding his future. Photo, source. Elsewhere, in a sign of the rising stocks at the Waratahs, their entire front row has been selected, as well as returning utility forward Jed Holloway. Rebels utility Reece Hodge has been selected despite his shocking start to the year, but Matt Tuomua has not enjoyed the same fortune, with the veteran test playmaker left out. There's no doubt some guys can still stand out in those situations, Rennie said. Some of it's based around form. He's played a fair bit of 10, and we see him more of a 12, and we've got a lot of good midfielders, who we think are going pretty well as well. His job over the next 10 weeks is to put a bit of pressure on us through performance. 4 hookers have been selected, but Falafengae and Dave Parecki would likely be the 2 picked with the Wallabies playing next weekend. Rennie has also opted for 4 halfbacks, with Ryan Lonergan the only uncapped rake amongst them. While Brumbies hooker Billy Pollard and Force halfback Isak Lelewasa were looked past, both men have caught the eyes of Wallabies selectors and offer a real point of difference. Suliasi Vunivalu has not been selected in the Wallabies squad, but Dave Rennie wants to keep the NRL Premiership winner in rugby. Photo, source. Injured rising back rowers Lorchie Swinton and Rob Leota have been selected. But Red Star Suliasi Vunivalu has not, with the flying winger still on the comeback from another hamstring injury. But in good news, Rennie confirmed the 26-year-old was nearing a return, and he would join the camp for 1 day. And he was hopeful the off-contract star would stay in the game despite mounting speculation. He is preparing to return to the NRL. Suli is not far away, maybe a couple of weeks, Rennie said. We didn't name him in the squad, but the plan is to bring him in for a day, with the camp being in Queensland just to assess things. But he's feeling really good. He's running fast. He needs to get a bit of rugby in him before he plays. I'm hopeful he stays. We're certainly keen to keep him in our game. Ben Donaldson has been selected in the Wallabies squad, but his utility teammate Will Harrison has not. Photo, source. The Wallabies will meet on the Gold Coast for a 3-day training camp on April 3 ahead of July's 3-test series against England. Eddie Jones. England went down to France 25-13 in Paris over the weekend to cap a remarkable final day of the Six Nations, after Italy shocked Wales to snap a 7-year drought. It was England's third loss of the campaign, but Jones' side finished third in the Six Nations. Australian Jones is under severe pressure to hold on to his job after winning just 2 matches for the second straight campaign. France sealed the Grand Slam with the 12-point win, and, by doing so, continued their momentum into next year's World Cup, where they are now the favourites to win their first Webb Ellis Cup. "It was the game you'd expect," Rennie said. "There was a lot of kicking. England are very big on territory, set piece and set piece dominance, and then trying to turn the screws. They are a side that defends really well, they've got a really good kick sprint. I think they were always odds on. England were pretty keen to spoil the party. What we know is it's a really tough comp, maybe far tougher than people appreciate, and the quality of the French, the quality of the Irish, they are excellent sides. England are right up there as well." Wallabies camp squad: Alan Alalatoa, Tom Banks, Angus Bell, Jock Campbell, Ben Donaldson, Falau Fainga'a, Lalakai Foketti, Nick Frost, Jake Gordon, Reece Hodge, Michael Hooper, Jed Holloway, Len Ikitau, Harry Johnson Holmes, Feleti Kaitu'u, Andrew Kellaway, Rob Leota, Noah Lolesio, Lachlan Lonergan, Ryan Lonergan, Tate McDermott, Fraser McRate, Kadern Neville, James O'Connor, Hunter Paisami, Isaiah Parise, Jordan Pet Aia, Matt Phillip, David Parecki, Tony Pulu, Isaac Rodder, Pete Samu, James Slipper, Darcy Swain, Lachlan Swinton, Taniela Tapu, Rob Valentini, Nic White, Harry Wilson, Tom Wright,